All right, so you're prepping for a Big Data Archive Librarian interview. Huh, pretty cool. Let's dive into this RoleCatcher intel and really get you ready, not just like skimming the surface. We're
Yeah.
going deep on
Yeah.
how to approach those sometimes tricky interview questions.
It's interesting with this field. What's really fascinating is just the sheer volume of information that these types of librarians handle.
Right.
It's not just about organizing, it's about making sense of truly massive data sets.
Yeah,
So almost like a digital archaeologist meets information architect type of role.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so first things first, RoleCatcher lays out this whole career path. And it's not always like a straight line, is it?
Exactly. And that's one of the things I think is really fascinating about it. You could start as an archive technician. You get hands-on with the digital media, maybe even pivot into a production role, or you could go the classic certified archivist route.
Yeah.
But the certified information professional cert really highlights that tech side of things, which is so huge in this role.
Okay, let's jump into the hot seat. RoleCatcher's got 9 key questions. And really like 75% of our deep dive today is going to be about mastering those.
Okay.
First up, how do you ensure big data archives are organized and easily searchable?
All right, so this is where you got to show off those technical chops.
Yeah.
Don't just say keywords and metadata. Go a little bit deeper. Talk about specific metadata schemas that you've used, like Dublin Core or MODS, and how you apply them to different types of data.
Yeah.
Audio, video, text. What are the challenges with each one of those?
And what if they hit you with a follow-up? Like,
Yeah.
our company uses, specific schema. What's your experience with that?
Boom. You're already prepared for it.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze job descriptions and flag those keywords.
Oh, wow.
So you can tailor your answer. It's like having a cheat sheet going into every interview.
Okay, question 2. How do you ensure the accuracy and completeness of archive data?
Oh.
This feels like it's all about attention to detail.
It is, but it's also about the systems that you put in place. Talk about quality control checks, data validation tools. Maybe mention specific software you've used for error detection. Did you ever develop a process for verifying data authenticity? That's a really great example to share.
Now, question 3 gets into the security side. How do you ensure that archive data is secure?
Hmm.
Big topic these days.
Huge. You want to talk about access controls, encryption, data backup, and recovery, but also go beyond the basics. Mention different encryption methods or the importance of regular security audits. Have you ever had to implement a new security protocol? That shows that you're proactive.
And it ties back to those certifications, too.
Exactly.
Mentioning the Certified Information Professional cert here adds serious weight to your answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, question 4 is all about the legal side.
Ah.
How do you ensure that archive data complies with relevant data protection laws and regulations?
Yeah,
It's not just about knowing that GDPR exists.
right. You need to show you understand like the nuances, maybe even compare and contrast GDPR with CCPA. How do they impact data archiving differently? Have you ever had to navigate a tricky situation where regulations were kind of unclear? That shows real-world problem solving.
Exactly. Question 5 takes us down the disaster preparedness route. How do you ensure that archive data is backed up and recoverable in case of a disaster? So think beyond just saying we have backups.
Okay, so paint them a picture.
Right.
What does your ideal disaster recovery plan look like? What specific backup methods have you used, cloud storage, offsite servers? And how would you actually go about recovering that data and minimizing downtime?
Right, be specific. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you practice your delivery. You can record yourself answering this question
Oh, cool.
and get AI feedback on your pacing, your clarity, and even your body language. It's like having a mock interview, but with a totally objective coach.
Question 6 is about staying current. How do you stay up to date on the latest big data technologies and trends? This one's all about showing you're a lifelong learner, right?
It is, but again, go beyond just listing conferences and journals. What are some specific technologies that you're really excited about and why? Have you ever taken a course or earned a micro-credential to deepen your skills, show them that you're proactive and passionate?
All right, question 7. How do you manage multiple big data projects simultaneously? Time management skills are front and center here.
Definitely. Talk about your prioritization strategies, project management tools that you've used, your ability to delegate effectively. Have you ever had to juggle competing deadlines or shifting priorities? How did you handle it? Real-world examples bring this to life.
Okay, on to question 8. How do you collaborate with stakeholders to ensure that archive data meets their needs? This feels like a blend of technical and communication skills.
It is. Think about a time you had to explain a complex technical concept to a non-technical stakeholder. How did you ensure that they understood? Did you use visuals, analogies?
And what about managing different opinions or conflicting needs from those stakeholders? That's a common challenge in any collaborative project.
Exactly. Show them that you can navigate those tricky situations with diplomacy and clear communication. And don't forget to highlight how you actively listen to stakeholder feedback and incorporate it into your work.
All right, last but not least, question 9. How do you ensure that archive data is accessible to users with different technical backgrounds? This seems like it's all about making the archive user-friendly.
It is. Think about the tools and strategies you've used to simplify the search process, create intuitive interfaces, provide support for non-technical users. Have you ever developed user guides, tutorials, or FAQs? Those are great examples to share.
And maybe even talk about the importance of usability testing
Yeah.
and getting feedback from users to continuously improve the accessibility of the archive.
Absolutely. The key with all of these questions is to be specific, showcase your experience, and demonstrate your passion for the field.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can be like your secret weapon in this process.
Absolutely.
It helps you tailor your answers, practice your delivery, and even identify potential follow-up questions based on the specific job that you're applying for.
It's like having a personalized interview coach in your pocket, ready to help you shine.
I love it.
So it's like we've given you this blueprint for tackling these 9 key questions. But let's step back for a second and think about the bigger picture. That career path we touched on earlier.
Right. We focused a lot on the interview prep.
Yeah.
But this RoleCatcher guide has some really interesting insights about how this role fits into the wider world of information management.
Exactly. Remember we were talking about maybe starting as an archive technician. That hands-on experience with digital media can be a springboard to a whole range of careers.
Oh, wow.
You could specialize in digital preservation, become a metadata expert, or even move into research and development.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you're not just stuck in a library basement.
No.
You're actually at the forefront of how we manage and preserve information in the digital age.
Precisely. And that's something you can really highlight in your interview. When they ask about your career goals, tie it back to this bigger vision. Maybe you're passionate about making information accessible to everyone, or you're fascinated by the challenges of preserving digital heritage for future generations.
It's all about showing them you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career with purpose and impact.
Exactly. And speaking of impact, let's circle back to those interview questions and dig a little deeper. Remember that first question about organizing and searching big data archives? They might throw you a curveball and ask, what are some of the emerging trends in search technology, and how do you see them impacting the field of digital archiving?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's not just about what you know now, it's about showing you're thinking ahead.
Right. You could talk about things like semantic search, natural language processing, or even AI-powered search tools. How could those technologies make archives more accessible and user-friendly? How could they help us make sense of these increasingly complex data sets?
It's all about showing them you're not just keeping up with the trends, you're actively thinking about how to apply them to real-world challenges.
Now let's revisit that question about data accuracy and completeness. Imagine they ask, what's the biggest challenge you faced in ensuring data accuracy, and how did you overcome it?
This is where you get to tell a story, a real-world example that demonstrates your problem-solving skills and attention to detail.
Maybe you discovered a major data inconsistency and had to develop a process for identifying and correcting similar errors. Or maybe you had to convince a skeptical stakeholder of the importance of data quality control.
Yeah.
Right?
Whatever the example, make it specific and engaging. Walk them through the problem, the steps you took to solve it, and the positive outcome you achieved.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you practice telling these stories in a clear and concise way. Record yourself answering these questions and get feedback on your delivery. Are you making eye contact? Are you using clear and confident language? Are you engaging the listener with your story?
It's like having a personal storytelling coach, helping you craft compelling narratives that showcase your skills and experience.
Now let's dive back into that security question. What if they ask, what are the biggest cybersecurity threats facing digital archives today? This is where you get to showcase your knowledge of the current threat landscape.
You could talk about things like ransomware attacks, phishing scams, insider threats, or even the risks associated with cloud storage.
And don't just list the threats. Talk about potential mitigation strategies. How can organizations protect themselves from these attacks? What role does user training play in cybersecurity? What are some emerging technologies that can help us stay ahead of the curve?
Show them you're not just aware of the risks, you're actively thinking about solutions.
Now let's shift gears to that legal question about data protection regulations. Imagine they ask, How do you stay informed about changes to data protection laws and regulations which are constantly evolving? This is where you demonstrate your commitment to staying current and compliant.
You could talk about subscribing to industry newsletters, attending webinars, or participating in professional organizations that focus on data privacy.
And you could even mention specific resources like the IAPT, the International Association of Privacy Professionals, or the EDRI, the European Digital Rights. Showing that you're familiar with these organizations demonstrates your commitment to the field.
And don't forget to mention any internal processes you've developed for staying up to date. Maybe you've created a system for tracking regulatory changes, or you regularly share relevant updates with your team.
Exactly. The key is to demonstrate that you're proactive and responsible when it comes to data privacy.
Now let's revisit that question about disaster recovery. They might ask, can you walk me through a specific disaster scenario and how you would handle it step by step? This is where you get to put your disaster recovery plan into action.
Choose a scenario that's relevant to the organization you're interviewing with. Maybe it's a natural disaster like a flood or an earthquake, or maybe it's a cyber attack like a ransomware infection.
And then walk them through your plan step by step. How would you assess the damage? How would you communicate with stakeholders? How would you recover the data?
Be specific about the tools and technologies you would use. And don't forget to mention the importance of testing your plan regularly to ensure its effectiveness.
It's all about demonstrating that you're prepared for the worst, but you're also confident in your ability to handle it.
All right, moving on to that question about staying current with big data technologies. Imagine they ask, what are some specific technologies you're excited about and why? This is your chance to geek out a little and showcase your passion for the field.
Maybe you're fascinated by the potential of blockchain for data provenance, or you're intrigued by the possibilities of quantum computing for data analysis. Whatever it is, let your enthusiasm shine through.
And don't just talk about the technology itself. Talk about its potential applications in the field of digital archiving. How could it improve data security? How could it enhance accessibility? How could it help us preserve information for future generations?
It's all about showing them you're not just a passive observer of technological advancements. You're actively thinking about how they can be leveraged to solve real-world problems.
Now let's revisit that question about managing multiple projects. What if they ask, describe a time when you had to juggle competing priorities and how you managed it effectively? This is your chance to showcase your time management and organization skills.
Choose an example that demonstrates your ability to prioritize tasks, delegate effectively, and meet deadlines under pressure. Maybe you had to manage a major data migration project while simultaneously preparing for an audit. Or perhaps you had to handle a sudden influx of new data requests while dealing with a staffing shortage.
Whatever the example, walk them through your process. How did you assess the priorities? How did you allocate resources? How did you communicate with stakeholders?
And don't forget to highlight the positive outcome. Did you meet all the deadlines? Did you exceed expectations? Did you learn any valuable lessons along the way?
It's all about demonstrating that you're a capable project manager who can handle complex situations and deliver results.
Now let's circle back to that collaboration question. Imagine they ask, tell me about a time when you had to work with a difficult stakeholder and how you navigated that relationship. This is your chance to showcase your diplomacy and communication skills.
Choose an example that demonstrates your ability to listen actively, empathize with different perspectives, and find common ground. Maybe you had to work with a stakeholder who is resistant to change, or perhaps you had to mediate a conflict between two team members with different opinions.
Walk them through the situation, explaining the challenges you faced and the steps you took to build a positive and productive working relationship.
And don't forget to highlight the importance of clear communication, respectful dialogue, and a willingness to compromise.
It's all about demonstrating that you're a team player who can build strong relationships and navigate challenging interpersonal dynamics.
Finally, let's revisit that accessibility question. What if they ask, what are some of the biggest challenges in making digital archives accessible to users with disabilities, and how can we address them? This is your chance to showcase your commitment to inclusivity and your understanding of accessibility principles.
You could talk about the importance of providing alternative text for images, captions for videos, and transcripts for audio content. You could also mention the need for keyboard navigation, screen reader compatibility, and adjustable font sizes.
And you could even delve into the challenges of making historical documents accessible, which often involves dealing with outdated formats and difficult-to-read handwriting.
It's all about demonstrating that you're aware of the diverse needs of users and you're committed to creating an archive that's accessible to everyone.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answers to these specific questions based on the job description and the organization you're interviewing with. It can also provide feedback on your delivery, helping you present yourself with confidence and clarity.
It's like having a personalized interview coach in your pocket, guiding you every step of the way.
It's really quite amazing how this field blends like the absolute cutting-edge technology with this age-old mission of preserving knowledge.
It really is. It's like being a bridge between the past and the future.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Acing this interview is about more than just passion. RoleCatcher had some interesting points about certifications.
Right, definitely. Those credentials show a commitment to your professional development. The certified archivist is great, if you're working in more of a traditional setting. But when you're talking big data, that certified information professional cert can really set you apart. It really demonstrates a deep understanding of the technical side of things.
And don't forget those like soft skills. We always hear about communication, collaboration, problem solving.
Essential in any field.
Right.
But especially in big data archiving. You're constantly working with different teams, you're explaining complex concepts, and you're adapting to new technologies.
And RoleCatcher actually emphasized the importance of networking, which I think is often overlooked.
It's huge. Attending conferences, joining online communities, these aren't just for learning, they're also about building relationships. You never know when a connection might lead to a mentor, a collaborator, or even your dream job.
And I love how RoleCatcher also highlighted the sense of community in this field. It's not just you and a mountain of data. There's like a whole network of passionate professionals out there.
That's right. There are organizations, forums, mentorship programs, a whole support system to help you navigate the challenges and celebrate the wins.
So to kind of wrap this all up, we've gone deep on the interview questions, the career path, and even the bigger picture of what it means to be a big data archive librarian.
Yep.
What's the one key takeaway you want our listener to walk away with?
I would say be prepared, be passionate, and be yourself. Show them you're not just a tech whiz, but a thoughtful, engaged professional who's excited about shaping the future of information.
I love it. Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, RoleCatcher is your ally in this journey. Use their AI to refine your answers, practice your delivery, and even explore different career paths within the field.
It's like having a personalized career coach and interview prep team all rolled into one.
So to everyone out there getting ready for their Big Data Archive Librarian interview, you've got this. Go in there with confidence, showcase your skills, and let your passion shine through. The future of information is in your hands.